The Pressure Alchemists, converting stress into supernatural performance enhancement. Let me tell you about the moment that transformed Marcus Thompson from a high-performing executive who was slowly being destroyed by stress to what performance scientists now call a pressure alchemist. Someone who has mastered the ability to convert any form of stress, pressure, or adversity into enhanced performance capabilities that appear supernatural to ordinary observers. It was November 18, 2024, and Marcus was facing the most intense professional pressure of his career, leading an $850 million corporate merger, while managing a personal family crisis and health challenges that would have broken most people. Most high achievers try to manage stress or reduce pressure to maintain performance. Marcus discovered something that revolutionized human potential science. He learned what Napoleon Hill called the Pressure Alchemy Method, the systematic approach to transforming stress energy into enhanced cognitive ability, emotional resilience, and performance capacity that actually improves under increasing pressure rather than deteriorating. Within 18 months, Marcus had not only successfully navigated the merger and personal crises, but had developed what colleagues called superhuman abilities: enhanced focus under chaos, accelerated learning during crisis, improved decision-making under extreme pressure, and energy levels that seem to increase rather than decrease when facing challenges. Tonight, you're going to learn the exact pressure alchemy framework Marcus used to transform stress into supernatural performance enhancement, and how you can apply these same principles to convert any pressure or adversity into competitive advantages that make you stronger, faster, and more capable than you ever thought possible. The breaking point crisis. Marcus's transformation began when three major life pressures converged simultaneously, creating what psychologists call a perfect storm of stress that typically destroys careers and health. He was leading the most complex corporate merger in his company's history, dealing with his father's terminal illness, requiring constant medical decisions, and managing his own stress-related health symptoms that included insomnia, anxiety, and cognitive fatigue. "I was approaching complete system failure," Marcus later reflected. Traditional stress management techniques, meditation, exercise, time management weren't sufficient for the intensity I was experiencing. I needed something that would transform stress into fuel rather than trying to eliminate it, because the pressure wasn't going to disappear. The crisis deepened when Marcus realized that his stress symptoms were actually getting worse despite using conventional stress reduction approaches. His performance was declining precisely when he needed maximum capability. Medical professionals recommended reducing responsibilities, but that wasn't an option given the magnitude of what was depending on his leadership. That's when his executive coach, Dr. Amanda Rivera, introduced him to Professor Elena Zhang, a performance physiologist who had spent 20 years studying what she called stress alchemy, the ability to biochemically and neurologically transform stress responses into enhanced human performance rather than degradation. The Pressure Alchemy discovery. Professor Zhang had a revolutionary perspective on stress and human performance that completely changed Marcus's understanding of pressure, adversity, and capability enhancement. Most people treat stress as the enemy of performance, Professor Zhang explained. They try to reduce pressure to maintain effectiveness. Pressure alchemists understand that stress is raw energy that can be converted into enhanced capability. The human nervous system is designed to become stronger under appropriate stress, not weaker. Professor Zhang showed Marcus research demonstrating that elite performers in every field, military special forces, emergency room surgeons, professional athletes, crisis leaders, had developed what scientists called stress inoculation response. Instead of being degraded by pressure, their performance actually improved because they had learned to convert stress energy into enhanced focus, faster processing, and accelerated capability. The goal isn't to eliminate stress, Professor Zhang continued. It's to transform the biochemical and neurological stress response into enhanced performance states. When you master pressure alchemy, challenges become fuel for supernatural achievement rather than obstacles to effectiveness. The 5 Pressure Alchemy Principles. Over the next 4 months, Professor Zhang taught Marcus 5 fundamental principles that transform stress responses into performance enhancements. Principle 1, stress reframing. Instead of viewing pressure as threat or limitation, pressure alchemists reframe stress as activation energy that can be directed toward enhanced performance and capability rather than anxiety and degradation. Principle 2, Biochemical Optimization. Rather than allowing stress hormones to create negative symptoms, pressure alchemists learn to optimize the biochemical stress response to produce enhanced focus, energy, and cognitive processing instead of fatigue and anxiety. Principle 3. Neurological conditioning. Pressure alchemists systematically condition their nervous systems to interpret stress signals as performance enhancement cues rather than threat warnings, creating excitement and capability rather than fear and limitation. Principle 4. Energy channeling. Instead of dissipating stress energy through worry and tension, pressure alchemists learn to channel stress energy directly into productive action, creative problem solving, and enhanced execution capability. Principle 5. Adaptive strengthening. Pressure alchemists understand that systematic exposure to appropriate stress levels creates adaptive strengthening, becoming more capable under pressure rather than being weakened by it, similar to physical fitness development. Marcus's 18-month pressure alchemy transformation. Under Professor Zhang's guidance, Marcus systematically rebuilt his relationship with stress and pressure. Month 1 to 4. Stress response analysis and reframing foundation. Marcus began by analyzing his current stress responses and identifying how his interpretation of pressure was creating limitation rather than enhancement. He discovered that his unconscious belief system treated high pressure as dangerous rather than activating, creating anxiety responses instead of performance responses. Working with Professor Zhang, Marcus learned to reframe pressure situations as opportunities for enhanced capability rather than threats to well-being. He practiced viewing the merger complexity as cognitive training that would make him more capable, the family crisis as emotional strengthening that would develop resilience, and health challenges as system optimization opportunities. I stopped seeing stress as something happening to me and started seeing it as energy available for achievement, Marcus explained. Instead of asking, how can I reduce this pressure, I started asking, how can I use this energy to become more capable? Month 5-8, Biochemical Response Optimization and Stress Hormone Management. Marcus learned advanced techniques for optimizing his biochemical stress response to produce enhanced performance rather than degradation. He discovered that the same stress hormones that create anxiety and fatigue can create focus and energy when properly channeled and interpreted. He implemented breathing techniques that shifted stress hormones from anxiety-producing patterns to performance-enhancing patterns. He developed nutrition and supplementation strategies that supported optimal stress response rather than stress-induced depletion. He learned sleep optimization approaches that allowed recovery and strengthening even during high-pressure periods. Marcus also implemented physical training specifically designed to improve stress response rather than general fitness. This included high-intensity interval training that mimicked pressure situations, cold exposure therapy that built stress resilience, and breathing practices that optimized autonomic nervous system responses. Month 9-12, Neurological Conditioning and Performance State Programming. Marcus systematically conditioned his nervous system to interpret stress signals as excitement and opportunity rather than threat and limitation. He used visualization, affirmation, and physical anchoring techniques to reprogram automatic stress responses from anxiety patterns to performance patterns. He practiced what Professor Zhang called stress inoculation training, deliberately exposing himself to progressively challenging situations while maintaining optimal internal state. This trained his nervous system to maintain peak performance capability regardless of external pressure levels. Marcus also developed specific protocols for different types of pressure situations. He created pre-performance routines that channeled merger stress into enhanced strategic thinking, family crisis energy into deeper connection and decision-making, and health challenges into system optimization and vitality enhancement. Month 13-18, Advanced Energy Channeling and Capability Enhancement. Marcus learned to directly channel stress energy into enhanced cognitive performance, creative problem solving, and accelerated capability development. Instead of stress energy creating tension and worry, he directed it into improved focus, faster learning, and enhanced execution. He developed what Professor Zhang called pressure protocols, specific techniques for converting different types of stress into corresponding performance enhancements. Time pressure became accelerated processing speed. Complexity pressure became enhanced pattern recognition. Emotional pressure became deeper intuition and connection. Marcus also learned to use stress as a catalyst for capability development that wouldn't occur under normal conditions. High-pressure situations became opportunities for accelerated learning, enhanced creativity, and expanded capacity that persisted after the pressure situations resolved. The extraordinary pressure alchemy results. By month 18, Marcus's pressure alchemy mastery had produced remarkable outcomes. Merger success led the most successful corporate integration in company history, completing the process 20% faster than projected while achieving 15% better financial results than anticipated. Enhanced capabilities developed supernatural performance abilities including enhanced focus under chaos, accelerated learning during crisis, improved decision-making under extreme pressure, and increased energy during challenging periods. Health optimization resolved stress-related health symptoms while improving overall vitality and resilience, achieving better health metrics during high-pressure periods than previous low-pressure periods. Family leadership provided exceptional support and decision-making during family crisis while maintaining professional performance, creating deeper relationships and more effective problem-solving during adversity. Professional recognition gained reputation for thriving under pressure and leading during crisis, resulting in promotion opportunities and consulting requests from organizations facing high-pressure transitions. Personal development achieved levels of capability and resilience that exceeded previous potential, establishing new baseline performance levels that incorporated enhanced stress response capacity. The Pressure Alchemy Framework. Through Marcus's transformation and Professor Zhang's research with hundreds of high performers, they developed a comprehensive framework for stress-to-performance conversion. Phase 1, Stress Response Assessment and Pattern Identification, analyze current stress responses and identify limitation-creating patterns. Map biochemical and neurological responses to different types of pressure. Understand how current stress interpretation creates degradation rather than enhancement. Identify opportunities for stress response optimization and reframing. Phase 2, Reframing and Interpretation Transformation systematically reframe pressure situations as enhancement opportunities rather than threats. Develop new mental models that interpret stress as activation energy rather than limitation. Practice viewing challenges as capability development rather than obstacles. Install belief systems that expect improvement under pressure rather than degradation. Phase 3, Biochemical and Neurological Optimization. Learn techniques for optimizing stress hormone response toward performance rather than anxiety. Implement breathing, nutrition, and recovery practices that enhance stress response effectiveness. Develop nervous system conditioning that interprets stress as excitement rather than threat. Create physical training approaches that build stress resilience and capability. Phase 4, Energy Channeling and Performance Enhancement. Master techniques for directing stress energy into productive action and enhanced capability. Develop specific protocols for converting different pressure types into corresponding performance improvements. Practice channeling stress into cognitive enhancement, creative problem solving, and accelerated execution. Create systematic approaches for using pressure as capability development catalyst. Phase 5, Adaptive Strengthening and Sustained Enhancement. Establish progressive stress exposure protocols that build enhanced capability over time. Develop approaches for maintaining performance enhancement gains after pressure situations resolve. Create systems for using stress as ongoing development opportunity rather than temporary challenge. Master sustainable pressure alchemy that creates permanent capability enhancement rather than temporary performance boosts. Real-world pressure alchemy applications. Case Study 1. The Emergency Room Alchemist. Emergency physician Dr. Sarah Kim transformed her stress response from burnout-inducing to performance-enhancing during the COVID-19 pandemic. By reframing patient chaos as cognitive training and emotional intensity as compassion fuel, she developed enhanced diagnostic speed, improved treatment creativity, and increased empathy under pressure. Her stress-enhanced performance saved hundreds of additional lives while improving her own health and job satisfaction. Case Study 2. The startup pressure master technology entrepreneur Michael Torres used pressure alchemy during his company's near-bankruptcy crisis to enhance rather than impair his leadership capability. By channeling financial stress into creative problem-solving energy and investor pressure into enhanced communication skills, he secured rescue funding while developing permanent improvements in strategic thinking and stakeholder management that continued after crisis resolution. Case Study 3. The athletic performance enhancer professional athlete Lisa Chen converted competition pressure from performance-limiting anxiety into supernatural athletic enhancement. Through systematic pressure alchemy training, she learned to channel pre-competition stress into enhanced focus, physical coordination, and tactical creativity, Her performance actually improved during high-pressure competitions compared to low-pressure training, setting multiple records under maximum stress conditions. The neuroscience of stress to performance conversion. Modern neuroscience provides frameworks for understanding how stress can enhance rather than impair human capability. Neuroplasticity and stress-induced growth research demonstrates that appropriate stress exposure creates neuroplastic changes that enhance cognitive capability, emotional resilience, and performance capacity permanently. Hormetic response and adaptive strengthening studies show that systematic stress exposure creates hormetic responses, adaptive improvements that make individuals stronger and more capable under subsequent pressure. Flow state and optimal arousal theory neuroscience research confirms that optimal performance occurs at specific arousal levels where stress energy enhances rather than impairs cognitive and physical capability. Post-traumatic growth and capability enhancement research documents that individuals can develop enhanced capabilities following stress exposure, including improved resilience, expanded capacity, and enhanced performance under pressure. Advanced pressure alchemy techniques. Stress inoculation and progressive exposure training systematically expose yourself to increasing pressure levels while maintaining optimal internal state, building stress resilience and performance enhancement capability progressively over time. Biochemical optimization and stress response hacking use advanced breathing techniques, targeted nutrition, specific supplementation, and recovery protocols to optimize stress hormone production and utilization for performance enhancement rather than degradation. Neurological programming and response conditioning implement visualization, affirmation, and anchoring techniques to reprogram automatic stress responses from limitation patterns to enhancement patterns at the subconscious level. Energy channeling and performance direction develop specific protocols for directing stress energy into enhanced cognitive performance, creative problem solving, physical capability, and accelerated learning rather than worry and tension. The technology tools for pressure alchemy. Biofeedback and stress response monitoring systems use heart rate variability monitors, cortisol tracking devices, and other biofeedback tools to monitor and optimize stress responses for performance enhancement rather than degradation. Virtual reality and pressure training environments. Leverage VR technology to practice pressure alchemy techniques in simulated high-stress environments that allow safe experimentation with stress response optimization. Meditation apps and stress transformation platforms implement smartphone apps and digital platforms that provide guided exercises for converting stress into performance enhancement through breathing, visualization, and conditioning techniques. Sleep and recovery optimization devices use sleep tracking technology, recovery monitoring systems, and environmental optimization tools to ensure that stress exposure leads to adaptive strengthening rather than depletion and burnout. The daily pressure alchemy practice. Successful pressure alchemists develop consistent stress transformation routines. Morning pressure preparation, 15 minutes. Identify day's potential stress sources and pre-frame them as enhancement opportunities. Practice visualization of optimal stress response and performance improvement. Prepare biochemical optimization through breathing and physical activation. Midday stress conversion, 10 minutes. Monitor stress levels and practice real-time conversion into performance enhancement. Use breathing and reframing techniques to channel stress energy into productive action. Check alignment between stress response and desired performance outcomes. Evening integration and strengthening, 15 minutes. Review day's stress to performance conversions and identify successful patterns. Practice recovery and adaptation protocols that strengthen capability for future pressure. Plan stress exposure and alchemy opportunities for tomorrow's challenges. Common pressure alchemy mistakes. Mistake 1. Attempting to eliminate stress rather than transform it. Trying to reduce or avoid pressure instead of learning to convert stress energy into enhanced performance capability and competitive advantage. Mistake 2. Overwhelming systems with excessive stress exposure. Exposing yourself to more pressure than your current capability can convert effectively, leading to degradation rather than enhancement and burnout rather than strengthening. Mistake 3. Focusing on temporary relief rather than permanent enhancement, using pressure alchemy for immediate stress reduction rather than building permanent capability improvements that enhance performance under all conditions. Mistake 4. Neglecting recovery and adaptation requirements, failing to implement adequate recovery protocols that allow stress exposure to create strengthening rather than depletion over time. Mistake 5. Maintaining victim mentality during pressure exposure, continuing to view stress as something happening to you rather than energy available for enhancement, limiting conversion effectiveness and capability development. Building your pressure alchemy system. Weeks 1-4. Stress response assessment and reframing foundation. Analyze current stress responses and identify limitation-creating patterns. Begin reframing pressure situations as enhancement opportunities rather than threats. Practice basic stress-to-performance conversion during low-pressure situations. Start developing new mental models about stress and capability. Weeks 5-12. Biochemical optimization and response training. Learn breathing techniques that optimize stress response for performance rather than anxiety. Implement nutrition and recovery practices that enhance stress resilience. Practice physical training that builds stress tolerance and capability. Develop nervous system conditioning through progressive exposure. Weeks 13-26. Advanced energy channeling and performance enhancement. Master techniques for directing stress energy into cognitive enhancement and creative problem solving. Develop specific protocols for different types of pressure and stress situations. Practice maintaining optimal performance states during increasing pressure levels. Create systematic approaches for using stress as capability development catalyst. Weeks 27-39. Integration and adaptive strengthening. Establish progressive stress exposure protocols that build enhanced capability over time. Integrate pressure alchemy into all aspects of life and professional challenges. Develop approaches for maintaining enhancement gains after pressure situations resolve. Master sustainable stress conversion that creates permanent improvement. Weeks 40-52. Mastery and advanced applications. Achieve reliable stress-to-performance conversion under extreme conditions. Develop advanced techniques for supernatural capability enhancement through pressure alchemy. Begin teaching and mentoring others in stress transformation methods. Establish reputation for enhanced performance under pressure and crisis leadership. Your pressure alchemy revolution. Marcus Thompson's transformation from stress victim to pressure alchemist wasn't about learning to cope with stress. It was about learning to convert it into enhanced human capability. He discovered that the human nervous system is designed to become stronger under appropriate stress, not weaker, and that pressure can fuel supernatural performance when properly channeled. The pressure alchemy method he mastered isn't about stress management or pressure reduction. It's about systematic transformation of stress energy into enhanced cognitive ability, emotional resilience, and performance capacity that creates competitive advantages unavailable to those who avoid or merely manage pressure. Pressure alchemy represents the ultimate performance enhancement technology. When you master the ability to convert any stress or adversity into enhanced capability, you transcend the limitations that keep most people performing below their potential and create possibilities for achievement that appear supernatural to conventional thinking. Your ability to achieve extraordinary results under challenging conditions ultimately depends on your stress response patterns rather than your innate talent or favorable circumstances. Those who can convert pressure into performance advantage will always outperform those who are degraded by the same conditions. The framework exists, the neuroscience is documented, the techniques are trainable. The only variable is your willingness to transform your relationship with stress from limitation to enhancement fuel. Like this video if you're ready to master pressure alchemy and develop supernatural performance capabilities. Subscribe to this channel for continued stress transformation and performance enhancement education. Comment below with your biggest pressure challenge. Let's convert it into capability enhancement together. Remember, stress is not your enemy. It's raw energy waiting to be converted into enhanced capability and supernatural performance. Start your pressure alchemy transformation today.